Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel again. My name is Tosin. I film about family, faith and lifestyle from Abuja, Nigeria. If you're new here, you're welcome. To my old subscribers, thank you for staying here with me. So guys, okay, sorry, I know these edges are supposed to be laid, but I've tried that thing. It's not working for this year. It's the Lagosness in my gene that is at work here. So let's focus. Let's start again. All right guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So I was making some TikTok videos, some videos before I went to work in the morning, and as I was just doing those videos, I just remembered, like, the Holy Spirit just dropped it. I don't like saying something, it is the Holy Spirit. You know, as I was doing the video, the Holy Spirit just dropped it on my mind that, see, you are forming fine girl now, you'll have ended up with a Muslim. And I'm like, oh, I should actually just share this story of how I almost dated a Muslim guy. Yes, so story story. What's up? What a time. So I think I was in 300 level, 300 level in school at the time, and I schooled in the north, the Abuja part of north. I shall schooled not in Onivegbe, not central, so it's still north. So I schooled in the north, and University of Abuja. And I remember my 300 level. I think I met this particular guy at a friend's neighbor's birthday party. Yes. So I went to greet a friend, and then our neighbor was celebrating birthday, and then she asked me to join. So I went, and we were at the party, and then I got like a seat to somewhere I could sit, and then this person walks up to me and it's just like, you can't sit there. And I'm like, I didn't see anybody there, that kind of thing. And from quarrel, we started laughing and everything. And so when the guy introduced himself, he introduced himself as ID. And I think when I asked him, oh, what's the meaning of ID, he said Idowu. Yeah, so at the time when I met him, I was planning for my departmental election, and I think he helped out with one thing led to the other. Me and this person became really close. Like, I found out that we used to live in the same area in Lagos. That was when we were still living in Surulere, Ijesha. Our streets were just like 3-4 streets away from each other. So I was really fascinated that, wow, I still met someone from my wood in school. So I think that made us close. And then it was staying on the street before the church I attended, and so it was mentioning some people that I knew, and it was like, which church do you go to, and I was like, Foursquare. I usually come to Foursquare, that he comes with one of his neighbors, something. So my mind was just like, oh, this guy is a Christian. ID Idowu, Christian. And that was how we became friends. He was always calling up because I think he was an accounting student or something in finance world. I can't remember. ID, if you're watching this video, sorry, I can't remember your department again. And we just gelled. He was always calling because I was the financial secretary in my department at the time. But after the election, I won, and then I became financial secretary. Not like I won. No, but I didn't have opponents. I wasn't a popular person like that in school. I didn't have opponents, so I became the winner automatically. So he was always asking me, oh, how far with your finance? How are you being able to manage, all of that together? And so we became friends. And like, how do I put it? Like, he didn't show one sign of being a Muslim. Sometimes when I think about it, I'm just like, how did it You see it. And then I think for me, the fact that I didn't become friends with him with the mind of dating. We were just friends in school. That was, do you understand? I didn't know that the relationship would like each other beyond, all of that. Nothing serious. It could, like, this person could practically talk about, he had an idea of the Christian whatever. Do you understand? Like, he could mention name of pastors. He was someone that you would invite him to church and he would go. Do you understand that kind of thing? Now, for some people that um for people that grew up in the West, it's not an issue. So really, at that time, and I think till now, I it's just that I know better now. At that time, we grew up in the West, where mother is Christian, father is Christian, mother is Muslim, and it was not an issue like in the West there. You will have cousins, you will have step siblings that you guys are not even of the same faith and you're all living together. And I think that's something I really admire about, our living in the West, like those of us in the West. But I moved to the North, and I realized that this is not me, this is not me bashing. If you want to, I'm just sharing my story. So we when I moved to the North, I realized that there was a really thick line between being a Muslim and being a Christian. And that's why sometimes you hear people say that until you are a Christian in the North, your Christianity has not been tested, because there's a line, thick line, not a thin line. There's a thick line that demarcates who you are as a Christian and who you are as a Muslim. There's no para or anything. If you're a Muslim, you're a Muslim. If you're a Christian, you're a Christian. Do you understand that kind of thing? And then I moved to the North and realized that, oh, okay, this Muslim thing, if you're a Muslim, you're a Muslim. If you're a Christian, the Christian, that kind of thing. And it just made me, just have that flip that, oh, if you're a Christian, you really need to settle down with a Christian. If you're a Muslim, you really need to settle down with a Muslim. But I still had that Western background in my head. Do you understand that kind of thing? And so me and Idris became really close, and he was always just chipping it in our conversation that, Tosin, I'm going to marry you. And I'm like, no, you can't marry me. He was an Edo boy. I was like, no, you can't marry me. All those kind of stories and everything. And one night I remember we were just gisting in front of my friend's house. I was living in the hostel, but when I needed a break, I used to go to my friend's place that I was staying. Okay, shout out to Miriam Afolabi. All right, so I would always go to Miriam's house occasionally, and then when me and Idris became friends, my going to Miriam's place became more frequent because of Idris, because of ID. Yes, let me put it that way, ID. And so one day we were just having a conversation, and he was just telling me that, Tosin, that what is stopping us from dating? I'm like, nothing. I ended up finding out he was a Muslim. One fateful Friday, I came to drop something. I can't remember. I came to drop something for him in his house, and after I dropped it, I was like, that I didn't want to go back to school until it was time for my rehearsal. So I just wanted to chill because the way I was staying was a really nice compound. They were all so bonded, so his neighbors were there. I could stay in his neighbors, both guys, girls, like that kind of thing. And then when he just told me that he was going to the mosque to pray. And I'm like, huh? Mosque? Wow. Which mosque are you going to? I was like, he's going to the mosque. And then I saw his kettle, his praying mat, and it was as if he just poured me water on my face. Why? This guy that I'm catching feeling for is a Muslim. And I'm like, oh my God, how didn't I see it? He doesn't have that mark there. He doesn't have that mark that Muslims used to have here. And I'm like, how did I miss it? I remember I was just my friends. I'm like, this guy I'm liking is a Muslim. How? All right, so I think I stayed away from him for a while, and he kept asking what was wrong, what da, da, da. I'm like, nothing, I'm busy. I just kept giving excuse, I'm busy, I'm this, I'm that. And I think one day just like to say, come, let's talk, what's the problem? And so I went, and he was like, I was like, I didn't know you were a Muslim. He said, he's a Muslim, although his mom is a Christian, married as a Christian, and his dad was a Muslim, but now she's not like a Muslim, that kind of thing. So that's why he has that bit of love for Christianity and all of that. And I'm like, I didn't know you were a Muslim. And he was like, that aside, that he really wanted us to, I think he was a year ahead of me. So when I was in my 300 level, he was in his final year, I guess. But I think at that time, there was no date, nothing. I had broken up with who I was dating at that time, and I was just living free life, freelance. And I remember he was just telling me that he really wanted us to, take this to the next level. He really liked me and all of that. And I'm like, how is it going to work? You're a Muslim, I'm a Christian. I was like, it's not a problem now. That there are a lot of Muslims that get married to Christians and all of that, that it will allow me practice my religion, and he will also do his family, he will also do, his Muslim thing, and his family won't have a problem with it because his mom also married as a Christian lady and everything. And I'm just like, okay, can I go and think about it, guys? When I got to the hostel that day, I think I cried because I'm just like, how did I get to this point? How did I get to this point? And I really liked him. And what now happened though? So I think I went to church, and this is me giving a shout out to Daddy K. I'm sure he probably doesn't even know if he can still remember we having this conversation. And I just kept asking people around, is it bad if a Christian girl should end up with a Muslim guy? But he's giving me the space to practice my religion. Is this, is that, And I remember I was talking with one of my friends, my very dear friend Comfort, and she was telling me how her auntie got married to a Muslim, but that she is not a Muslim now. She doesn't go to church, she wear hijab. I started just hearing all sort of story, but I just needed one strong reason, because really I said that I could practice my religion. It's not going to stop me from being a Christian and all of that. I didn't even remember my parents, guys. I didn't even remember. I'm like, well, my parents are not that gay people. They are not that, they are Christians, but sorry, that kind of thing. So maybe they will allow, that kind of thing. I was just, only me just did they think. And I think the Holy Spirit just led me to Daddy K at that time. I remember just asking him casually that if a Muslim guy is interested in a Christian guy, what does he think about, is it okay? Will the church be and he was like, no, that the worst that will happen is church will marry you guys together. You can do cults and go to garden and do your church, but that he would like to ask a question that when they get married and when they have their children, are their children going to be Muslims or Christians? And then he dawned on me. I'm like, that's true. And and I remember he said something about how it's something that the Muslims also use to evangelize. I don't know, but I also believe that the Muslims use that marrying of Christian girls to also kind of expand their numbers, because if I get married to a Muslim and we have children, are my children going to be Christians or are they going to be Muslims? And the complexity, will his extended family be okay with it? A lot of things. So I have a family friend and I admire them so much. She's a Christian and the guy is a Muslim. I admire what they have because she's so deep in her Christian thing, doing things for God and all of that. And I'm like, I remember I remember that the girl was saying, except if you're Uzziah, you know, if God called you to and say, okay, go and marry this prostitute or go and marry this Muslim, it's for a reason, you know, that kind of thing. But God did not send me. He can send you. He did not send me. So I remember I went back to him and I'm like, I would really love, you know, to explore we, but that I'm just thinking here that what will happen to my children. And he was like, well, they will decide what they want. And I'm like, I don't want to give my children those options. I didn't have the option of if I want to be a Christian. My parents didn't say, oh, okay, decide though if you want to be a Christian, or if you want to be a Muslim, or if you want to worship your first priest. It was what they had, they gave to me. And I don't think I want to raise my children in that kind of confused state where they have to choose between, especially when I know that I know I'm serving a living God. You also know you are serving a living God. I don't want to put my children in the middle of that confusion. So I don't think I'm going to go on with this, you know, let's just be friends. And I was like, okay, cool, no problem. And that's how I almost dated a Muslim guy. And I don't know about, like, I don't know if you're watching this and you're just, and my own is, what are your values? What values do you want to bring into your new home? I don't see myself giving my children that option. I don't see it for me. Like, I can't imagine that area you go and pray 5 times, you go to Ilekeu, then you follow me to church. Personally, I know there are people that are in that situation and they are able to manage it well. But for me, I don't think I'm extremist. Yes, it is God and God. It is Jesus, I know. Do you understand? And I don't want issues. It's a lot of things. Like, if you want to venture into marrying another faith, you really need to think about it. It's beyond the feelings, is beyond, you know, what you think, you know, that things will go on well. You have your extended family to think of, you have your immediate family to think, you have your children to think of. God forbid if the man dies, have you ever imagined what will happen to the woman having to deal with your other religion family? They will show her pepper, except if they are really nice people. Or if a Christian lady and then you marry a Muslim guy, God forbid you die, what will happen to my children? They will now go and be doing, I don't have issues with any faith. Jesus is the one I know. He's the one Timodimo, and that's what I'm going to hold on to. Do you understand? I don't want that option. As in, for me, I think it was just the Holy Spirit that just put that in my heart. Like, I don't want that option of my children to start considering boya ele. Now, if you're in that situation, please, I'm not judging you here. I'm just, as I said, I'm just telling my story. And if you are that cross line, you know, especially if you are a believer, I need you to ask the Holy Spirit to help you, you know, make the right decision. Are you Uzziah? And that just stood out for me. Is God sending me into that ministry? Do you understand? Because I've seen people that are Christians who get married to the other sex and to the other religion, and before you know, they get married based on, oh, you can practice your religion, and then the family, extended family, starts attacking and bag, that kind of thing. And they ended up having to leave Christianity to become Muslims, to start wearing hijab. I can't envision. It's not. I don't see myself in that. I want my children to be free. Do you understand? I beg. That's my 2 cents. That's my story. I hope this story is not long. If it's long, we'll look for how to edit it to make it fun. So guys, thank you. That's my story of how I almost dated a Muslim guy. And yes, we are still friends on Facebook. He's out of the country. I think he's married to a Christian lady now. I'm not sure, but I see this lady that's not on hijab, and she's an Igbo girl. So I don't think he ended up marrying a Muslim guy. So guys, thank you for staying to the end of my story. I hope you learned something and you don't feel attacked. to him. So guys, thank you. Bye.